Hello everyone and welcome back to another math video. Today we're going to be talking about medians, altitudes, angle bisectors, and perpendicular bisectors, similar to the problems that you see up on the screen here. Just a reminder, this is the normal version. If you want the speed run version where we go through it pretty quickly, I'll link that in the description below. Okay, for your Ricasso Recap, you should already be familiar with geometric terms and how to label, line segments. You should know angle vocabulary, how to name angles using notation. And lastly, you should be familiar with congruency statements. You should be able to look at those pictures, those figures, and know what the red lines mean in the corner and on the sides. If you want refreshers on any of these topics, I'll link videos in the description below. Please go watch those before you start this lesson. All right, new lesson starts now. Here we go. Two new words, median and altitude. Let's start with a median. A median, put simply, goes from a corner to the midpoint of an opposite side. So for example, SU starts in this corner, goes across, starts in a corner, and it hits the midpoint, right? Because we know that these lines mean that those are equal. They could also put numbers there. Sometimes they'll put like 10 and 10. Try and make those, there we go, 10 and 10. And so that would tell you, okay, SU is a median. It goes from the corner to the midpoint, right? Median, think of the median of a road, if that helps. Now an altitude goes from a corner to the opposite side and forms a right angle. So in this drawing, TR, right here, TR, so line segment TR is an altitude because it goes from the corner here to the opposite side and forms a right angle with that red half square. Okay, then here is our cool clock for today, which means that it's time for you to practice what you just learned. Go ahead and pause the video and try these two problems on your own. And when you're ready, you can unpause the video and we'll check your answers. Okay, now they've had time to work these problems. Let's check your solutions. Okay, for the first problem, you should have said line segment QT because remember it cuts a side in half, not an angle. That's something different. And for the second problem, you should have said the answer is TW because an altitude goes from a corner and forms a right angle. So that would be this one right here. Okay, two more new words for today. Angle bisector, perpendicular bisector. Okay, bisector is exactly what it sounds like. To bisect means to cut, right? So an angle bisector cuts a corner or an angle in half. Okay, so in this drawing, we would say that AC is a angle bisector because it's cutting, this corner into 61 and 61. Now, a perpendicular bisector is a combination of a median plus an altitude, median and an altitude. Or another way to say that is it's going to have a midpoint, okay, so it goes from a corner and makes the midpoint, and it has a right angle. That's the altitude part, okay, so it cuts it in half and cuts a side in half and forms a right angle. All right, time to practice. Go ahead and pause the video, try these two on your own. When you're ready, unpause and we'll check your answers. Okay, now they've had time to work these problems. Let's check your solutions. Okay, for the first problem, they tell you these two angles are congruent. They're equal, so that means they're being cut exactly in half. So it's an angle bisector. And for the second problem, you should have said US. Notice that TW, okay, does form the right angle, but it does not cut this exactly in half. It's not a median. All right, so US is the correct answer. For these last types of problems, these are kind of trick problems, I guess. So let me explain. It says, which term describes US? All right. Is it an angle bisector? No, it is not, right? These are not equal numbers, not an angle bisector. Is it an altitude? No, it's not. Okay, there's no right angle. And it's not a perpendicular bisector because, again, no right angle. And so in this case, it is none of these. All right, let's practice these sort of trick problems. Go ahead and pause the video, try this one on your own, these two on your own. When you're ready, unpause and we'll check your answers. Okay, now they've had time to work these problems. Let's check your solutions. Okay, for the first problem, we should have said that UW is a median, okay, because these are equal. And for the second problem, we should have said IF, or FI, is the altitude. And the reason, notice that EG does not start from a corner. An altitude has to start from a corner, and so that's why it's FI or IF. All right, that's it for today. I hope you'll have a good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.